Hey everybody, welcome back to our Medieval Total War campaign as the French in Glorious Achievements mode, and we're attempting to really clean up the middle part of Spain here. We've already totally captured Leon and Castile, and we're working on getting Cordoba for our crusade objective here. Basically, we get a successful crusade by taking the castle, you know, and owning it outright, and we'll get a couple of extra points of influence for our rather sad-looking king here, King Philippe. He's only 32, so he's got some time to grow into his role, I suppose, and he's also got some time to get quite a few more kids. We've only got one prince here. It looks like we must have lost a prince during the last fighting. I may not have noticed that. But I guess I'm realizing it here. So we've got another son coming along in about, 7 years for Prince Louis, and then another 9, or another 2 years past that, so 9 years total for Prince Charles to come of age. Hopefully in the intermediary time, the Spanish will not get into our little enclave here. They're not at war with the English right now, so that's sort of a good point for us. In fact, they're allied with the English. If they do manage to get a ship up here into the English Channel, of course we can expect to be attacked in Flanders by them, but I don't see that likely. We've actually done pretty well with their fleets. They still have some ships in the area, but if you take a look, there's only a couple of sea provinces where they have ships present, as indicated by the red. So it looks like we're basically winning the naval war. That is allowing us to maintain a nice, healthy income, so we can continue training, recruiting mercenaries, and building. So that's all really good stuff. For now, we've gotten a recent acquisition in Egypt, and I haven't really felt strong enough to push against Sinai or Arabia, and also they're not doing much with these provinces. So I think we can kind of ignore it for a little while. We do have a crusade being built here in Palestine, and I think we've got another one going, yes, in Ile-de-France. So one more year, those crusades will be done. But just to add insult to injury, last episode, or maybe the one before, when we sent our crusade against Cordoba here, against the excommunicated Spanish, I was lamenting how yet again we've got a crusade with no Templars. No Knights Templar have appeared in my crusade, and that's something that I don't think you can really control. Maybe there is some criteria you can use to encourage more Knights Templar in your crusades, but we've got maxed out zeal here in Palestine. I would think that if anything, the likelihood of getting high-tier knights would somehow maybe be tied to the zeal or the Catholicism level of the region, and both of those are max. So unless there's some weird inversion bug where lower zeal means higher likelihood to get knightly orders, which I wouldn't put it past, these games. There's always weird bugs like that with Total War games. I can't think of what it is. We don't have any Templars, even though Palestine is a place to get valor bonuses for Templars. But look at this, English Crusade. They have a bunch of Templars. So this is a unit that that obviously the English get as well as us. There may be another faction that gets Templars too for their crusades. But the English are having no trouble, I guess, getting Templars to show up. I don't know what their secret is, but at least this tells me that the unit is available in the late era. So it's not that we've sort of gotten past the point of the Templars and they don't appear anymore. Anyway, I think we've got everything queued up. We'll just end the season here, and we are going into a battle with Cordoba. I would imagine, unless we manage to push them out entirely because their king is there. So there is a possibility that they will just withdraw, go to Valencia or Portugal or Grenada. There is also the possibility that they pile a bunch of units in from other provinces, and we have to deal with all of that. Okay, they're going to Brittany. We've got a force inside the castle in Brittany. Okay, they've moved the king out, so we'll see what they do here. And we did it. We've got another successful assassination. We're just going after generals here. We're trying to hurt their loyalty, so we're just using the assassins that we have to get generals that are powerful or loyal. So this is fine. Not great, but this is also good. A rank 0 general. And then, all right, nice. Another rank 0 general falls to the hand of our 6-star assassin. Okay, so they're retreating. Now, I guess they're going to the Citadel, it looks like. Yeah, they're still Still besieging me. Okay, so we can expect a counterattack. There is a revolt there. Okay, 2 years left in Navarre, and then well, they'll have to attack, I guess, or assault. Okay, so that's Brittany. 2 years there. All right, we've got Castile watchtowers, at any rate. Now, one thing that I, feel a little silly for kind of forgetting, this was pointed out to me by a viewer a couple of episodes ago, actually, is that rather than trying to hold these provinces, I could just demolish them and move on. And that would... The reason I have not done that is because typically what happens is when you demolish a province, destroy everything, except maybe the castle, right, and crank up taxes to very high, so the public order is super low. And then if you withdraw, you'll typically get 2 revolts, 2 different kinds of rebellion. One is going to be just a rebel force, and the other is going to be a loyalist force. And the size of those rebellions are typically going to somewhat reflect the size of the garrison that you left behind. So if you crank up taxes and basically leave the place empty, then you're going to get 2 little rebellions. Now, in practice, if you are avoiding a big dangerous enemy like I am, that big dangerous enemy is going to have no trouble taking back the province that you just took from them, right? Especially if you destroy everything. And even if you destroy like everything but the castle and leave a skeleton garrison, it's likely that they're going to get it back at some point. But the viewer pointed out that despite that, what you're really going after is the chance that one of those rebellions, like the Grey Rebels that appears, will be not just a regular rebel, but actually a faction reemergence. And I had somehow, I think I just wasn't seeing it that way. I'd kind of forgotten to think about doing that, trying to encourage a reemergence, because it has been a long time since the Almohads or the Aragonese have been around. Now, I think the Almohads, I can't remember if they ever got Castile or Leon. They may have. I don't know about Aragon. I believe Aragon may have had Valencia, maybe briefly. But nevertheless, that would be a decent option for me, right? Like if I could get a nice big reemergence here in the middle of Spanish territory, that would be great. That could potentially weaken the Spanish, give them another thing to have to worry about. Maybe they wouldn't even be at war with that reemerged faction. And that would be actually better, because typically reemergences look big on paper, but a Spain like this would have no trouble dealing with reemergence of the Almohads or the Aragonese, I'm quite sure. Because if you look at the kind of units that reemerge, they're typically stuff like a ton of archers or arquebusiers and ballistas. It's a weird mix of stuff that's not really optimal and tends not to have very high valor or great generals either. So if you were to get a reemergence and the Spanish were to stay neutral to them or even ally with them, then that would be essentially securing a chunk of Spain for another faction and therefore weakening the Spanish, right? So that is something to try to keep in mind here. And like, I may consider that with Cordoba. Like, I don't know exactly if I want to try to hold this. It might be a good idea to just try to trash a bunch of these territories and move on. But Cordoba is particularly tempting to keep for 2 reasons. One, it is pretty wealthy. You've got some good trade goods here, and I think you've got a good sort of base farming income too. It's not like Portugal, which is very disloyal. And Cordoba is also really strategic because, as you can see, it basically controls access to Africa. Right? If you hold Cordoba, no one from North Africa is going to be able to proceed past that, and vice versa, right? So this feels like an important choke point, and so I'm kind of reluctant to give it up. All right, but let's take a look at the results of our attack here. We've got, okay, 1 year. We could wait this out, theoretically, right? We could just sit here 1 turn and wait for a potential counterattack. Now, here in Portugal, with high taxes, they've got 97% loyalty. That's right on the cusp of a rebellion. And they don't have great units in here. So I'm thinking they probably won't send all of these units because they know that they're going to lose Portugal, potentially. Similarly, these guys from Leon are probably not going to participate, although it's interesting that they did get a Demi-Culverin crew. They get some kind of good units here. We could see an attack from the king. Let's just double check and see if King Pedro has any heirs yet. No heir. So, does that mean the king is likely to send himself in here and attack us? Maybe. If so, maybe we can eliminate the faction. And then give the Pope something to do, right? Because if this, all of a sudden, this turns into rebels, it would still be there. Like, these units are not going away. They would just become rebels. But the papacy, as we've seen, is going nuts. And I think they might look at this as a challenge. And maybe even the English would too. So that would be actually kind of nice. So maybe, you know, instead of trying to rush this, maybe I will just sit and wait for a counterattack. We could get a counterattack from Grenada, I guess. You know, this is a nice, look at this guy. He's a natural leader, so that's +2 morale. He's brave beyond belief, so that's 3 more morale. So he's getting a +5. 5 command stars, right? So really good general here. But here they don't have very much. And again, we blockade the Straits of Gibraltar, so they can't bring anything from Algeria or Tunisia. They don't even have ships down here. So, you know, what else we got? We got stuff from Morocco. So yes, this is, you know, a potential concern. But I could bring reinforcements too, like, and I think I will. Let's do this. I know it's only 1 loyalty shield, so this feels like very risky. All those guys are nice and loyal, though. We've got 2 crusade markers. As soon as this one's gone, I could do another crusade. Let's test something, though, because these are red. No, I need to actually resolve the crusade. Again, what I can wait for is, I think, if the Pope calls for a crusade against the Spanish, you might be able to have 2 crusades simultaneously at that point. Like, what I've heard is that if you have a crusade going at the moment, and then the Pope sends out a call for another crusade, that you can then send a second crusade, even though normally you can only have 1 at a time, like in this scenario. I think I'll keep you here. I think we want to discourage the Spanish from hitting me in Portugal, especially since now we have a crusade marker there. Maybe even I want to throw in a little more. Alright, everybody is very unhappy. Maybe I can find someone else here. Are you better? Yeah. Alright, so Tripoli looking kind of low on men, but the English probably are not going to go for another fight right now. They are still at war, yeah, with the Golden Horde. So they've got definitely a front here and probably some stuff up here to deal with. Okay. We're just training everywhere. And we do have boats coming. Next turn, we'll have another cog. So I could move this guy right now. I guess we could put him here for trade purposes. But actually, I think I won't, and I'll use the cog. I want to send the cog west, because I think that's the better ship for fighting. All these guys are kind of the same, but I think I want 3 ships up here, just in case the Spanish come over and, you know, with a ship that I'm not aware of and try to hit me. Okay, so in Brittany we're under siege 1 year, so they may just wait it out. But I could put a spy over here, you know, to try to encourage rebellion. I think I want another spy here before I want another ship. We've got some more coming. Okay, and now that we've got a crusade marker, I think I want to get, you know, a bunch of... Alright, let's go for a mix. Arbalest. We've only got 80 men. This will bring it up to, you know, more than 100, so that's good. But maybe Champagne we want to develop too. We've got the money for it, right? Probably not much point upgrading the trading post to a market. We could go for handgunners. Not too excited about that. Let's get a church to get morale for our halberdiers that we can theoretically train here. Let's get a few of them. Okay, and Ile-de-France, you know, I think I do want an Armorer's Guild here. And Flanders. Yeah, we're not... Our trade is not doing so great here, but that's because of the Spanish, who are really choking that off. But let's continue with trade, I think. Okay, so Castile, do we want to stay? Do we want to stay around here, or do we want to just go back down to Cordoba? These units, you know, are kind of good. They don't have any valor, but they would be under a... what is this guy? He's got 6 stars, so that's pretty reasonable. And then we can abandon Castile. Maybe leave a single unit in there just... just to do it, kind of crank up the taxes. Right? So we're going to get a rebellion or something, and we'll just see what that is. We can go back to the fort. Because they could quickly just come down and hit us here as well. Up here, I don't know that I want to be bothered to fight this rebellion. They might want to move in some troops from Portugal to do it. And I don't really have a great army to deal with this. So let's just do that. And yeah, let's just destroy all of that. And let's, yeah, we'll just wreck stuff. I know I just made the watchtower, but that's what we'll do, okay? So I know we're probably just going to lose this to the Spanish, and they're going to not suffer a rebellion there. But Castile, there may be a rebellion. Okay, what else here do we want to look at? We just did a bunch of assassinations. That hasn't really affected too much the loyalty, although this guy's is a 4 shield commander. I don't know exactly who's going to take over for him, right? Because it may be someone within the same stack here. Or it could be this guy who's more loyal. So maybe this is the better option, just to leave it as 4. And here, I guess we could go for that. And yeah, let's hit this 2-star guy. 66 is kind of low odds. But maybe I'll bring this guy down to help out. Oh my gosh. Oh, that... All right. That is beautiful. Look at this. Look at Toulouse is emptied. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-ish stacks against the papacies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, I mean, the Pope might get kicked out of here, but this is great. This is great because I would actually love, you know, the papacy to be less of a threat here militarily. So this is actually kind of either way this goes is good. Because, okay, so let's say they win, right? Then the Spanish have to kind of keep spreading out. They open up a longer front with the English. and they have more territory that they have to defend, and all of those stacks are going to be busy defending the new acquisitions, right? So maybe I can get Toulouse back relatively easily. Okay, so we got this guy, rank 2 general. Oh, did I? Okay, so it's I don't know why it's telling me Morocco. Oh, this is Morocco. Okay. So did I get this guy? No. Okay, we had some shifting. Sorry on my scattered commentary here. I'm just realizing what happened because the 6-star assassin was in Portugal and he was going after a guy in Algeria, and so I'm very confused why we're being told this is Morocco. He must have moved over here, probably in an attempt to come up and support, but he's dead. We've got another 0 guy dead, and the Spanish withdraw out of Egypt. Beautiful. Okay, so they think they're going to go to Cyrenaica, but back out of that. We've lost Leon. This is what I was talking about. Okay, so we've got a little group of rebel bandits. We've got a little loyalist revolt. Cash arrives, 1,000 florins. Siege in Navarre is about to fall. That's very sad. But they're not hitting me in Cordoba. English mobilizing and attacking the Golden Horde. That's fine. Alright, we lost a spy in Trebizond. Alright, so how did this go? The Spanish won here. So their excommunication is probably going to continue for quite a while. Unless they just die, which they could. Alright, this is still 97% loyalty, which is rather frustrating. But the good news, I guess, is that they're not moving anybody, right, out of this. So let's move a spy over here, and let's move a spy there. And we will just encourage any potential rebellion here. So I don't know who is going to win. I don't know. I feel like they're probably just going to give it to the Spanish. And this, they're not going to indulge me and do an attack on Navarre. This is also very unfortunate. We're not going to be able to save Brittany. We just don't have the men for it. But that's a great target for a crusade, right? And in fact, we could do it from here, potentially, to just go right over there. Actually, where are the Spanish ships? I'm not seeing any, and there definitely were some. So, oh god, oh, they're probably here along the Spanish coast. Okay. Maybe there was a storm. Well, there's my cog, so I can move that. And we'll just try to remember that it's there, or at least within reach. Okay, I think I would like to have somebody in the Atlantic coast, because that actually is the missing piece. That allows me to get to Brittany with a crusade, if I want to crusade to take that back. Let's take a look at our homelands. Brittany is on them. So is Normandy, Anjou, Provence, and Burgundy. Now, interestingly, Provence is in Spanish hands. Normandy, Anjou, Brittany, Toulouse. Is Toulouse there? Toulouse gotta be. Yeah, Toulouse is. And Burgundy. But, you know, all of these places are nice crusade targets. Okay, so one more year. What are the Spanish going to do? They're probably going to want to slide this guy up. This is about to fall. Let me just check loyalty, because we've got a low influence king, of course. Okay, that could be better. Great. I mean, I think we would be okay if even if they hit us with everything. I think we might be able to win. Then again, you know, I've been proved wrong. The Spanish are a lot tougher, maybe, than I've given them credit for, but I think we'd be okay. So this is going to happen next turn. If they counterattack this turn, you know, during their upcoming turn, that's the only chance they're going to get. So that means they can't bring a bunch of their massive armies down to hit me. All right, unfortunately, no signs of rebellion here. That's 50% odds. But he is the only starred guy here. He's got envy, so actually, if it's unfortunate because -3 loyalty, right? Okay, but he's a magnificent builder, so that's +2. So his loyalty feels like it should be lower. Let's try it. Let's try that. We'll just try to throw our agents at him to see if they can dig up anything. And we need a new Count of Flanders, evidently. Alright, let's start moving some guys in that direction. We can't send the Crusade yet anyway, because it's still active in Cordoba. Okay, you're pretty loyal. And Grenada has a border for it. Okay, this guy we might want to kill. He's a skilled attacker, so this 3 stars is going to turn into a 4 if he is actually going to attack. Let's try it. 76% odds. 83, and we'll hit you. So there, there may be some pushback here. They may be sending some agents down to try to secure, secure the province a little bit against my assassins. Okay, I want to say that the West, can live for a little while here while I try to shore up my defenses in the East. So now we're going to get things ready maybe to hit Sinai and or Arabia. Alright, actually we got to shuffle this too. Okay, I'll live with that. And since there's no Spanish ships up here, I think I may move one of you just over here. So now we can start trading, theoretically, maybe with Genoa. But we can at least see, and if there are no Spanish ships around, then we could actually get some naval invasion going if we wanted to. So let's move our bishop as well while we're at it. I want to be in a position to see stuff. Well, let's take a look at Pomerania, Silesia. Alright, both the agents failed there. But here, we killed that 3-star general. Oh, the Pope has hit Algeria. Oh my gosh. We're going to see a completely insane papacy at the end of this, I'm thinking. Alright, another successful assassination. I'm just going to abandon the province here. And just let them duke it out. And we got it. Alright, so there's no counterattack. There we go. We got some excommunication causing some unrest here. There is a nice little Christian rebellion. It does look very little, though. Huh. We've got our spy in Wessex has caused a rebellion there. Another tiny one. And Navarre has fallen, and Brittany has fallen. Okay, Spanish are planning to attack me. Not likely until the year after next. So I don't know exactly where that would be. It's probably Cordoba, though, right? Because that's the only place they can reach. They don't have ships anywhere that I can see. So I don't know how they got rid of those boats. But that's great. So we got a crusade. Let's take a look at our king now. He's up to 4. Okay, I'd like that to be 5, but we'll take 4. All right. And look at this. North Africa is now papal. With the exception of Morocco. All right, and I mean, those armies have just evaporated. Now, I'm guessing they may have a lot of guys in Milan because I did see a lot of those forces move in that direction. what I want to do is try to capture these two places before the papacy comes storming back in and taking it back. So, you know, we'll get a bishop down here for sure, and just make sure that there's not overwhelming Spanish force here. But, you know, I want to be able to do this well. All right, let's get another crusade. And let's see where we want to send it. Because I could, you know, I could send it to, like, Valencia and just move everything up here at the king, right? And then he would probably withdraw, and I would get another quick crusade victory. That might be what I want to do. Just move all of my guys up northeast towards Toulouse. So let's do that. Let's take that crusade marker. Drop it on Valencia. 250 florins. What a deal. Let's see if we get any Templars. Nope, nope. Nope, not a single one. What is the problem? I'm thinking there's a bug. Where's my Inquisitor? Do I even have an Inquisitor? All right, he's in Aragon. Let's get him out of here. You're going to go down into Palestine. And what I want him to do is just reduce the zeal here and see if there's some kind of bug whereby the, you know, a higher zeal province actually leads to a like a lack of knights or something. Okay, we'll do that. Actually, I didn't have any units training here. I've got this one guy. Let's move him over into Palestine. You can stay there. You can come right over here immediately. What they can do to reinforce is they can hit me from Aragon, and that's it. So they can bring this particular army down south. So yeah, like, let's destroy Cordoba. Yeah, destroy it. Yeah, even this. I'm thinking maybe I keep the castle in place. Look at this. I got a master spearmaker. Yeah. Well, I mean, so this is the building that represents the castle. I could destroy this, and then there's no castle here. That feels a little unsporting in some ways because I'm afraid the AI can't really handle that too well. Okay, this is just not budging. 97% loyalty. Maybe I got to get my bishop out of here. But yeah, let's move him. Let's move him up to Provence just to scout out, I guess. And yeah, let's keep the castle in play. If we do get a reemergence, it would be nice for the reemerging faction to take advantage of it. One thing though is a reemergence, I believe, the game tracks in the background the ages of heirs who have not yet, you know, come of age, and so I think you do need there to be a young prince or something, like of the Almohads, still alive, and he may not exist anymore, right? They may have just the line may have died out at this point because it's quite late in the campaign, and maybe the same is true of Aragon. So you know, this may not go anywhere. But let's just move everybody up. I'll leave 12 urban militia here, just to be an annoyance and to hold the castle if the Spanish decide to invade. Alright, everybody there is pretty loyal. Okay, can't combine you, fine. There we go. So yeah, four crowns of influence. And maybe I want to start keeping some of these guys down here. I don't know. Move the princess over to Austria. Let's move... Yeah, maybe I don't really need to see Silesia anymore. Actually, I mean, what else am I going to look at? I've got pretty good visibility, right? Now this, as the Spanish conquer, it may also open up, you know, places where I can get spies in, because there were a lot of border forts here. And one thing I could really try is like getting the Swiss to emerge, because they're pretty close. So if I do get some spies in here, you know, maybe Tyrolia, that might be a possibility. Okay, we're going to go very high taxes in Cordoba. Now up here, we're looking at probably not a great army. They've got kind of the same stuff here, so I don't know. It seems like the Spanish would win. They've got higher numbers for sure. And nice to see that the rebels won there. Okay. Let's get our... This is my 6-star assassin. Yeah, let's get him out of here. Wow. Alright, and I kind of wouldn't mind also just leaving a spy in here, because the Pope, you know, he's too strong. So I don't want him to have everything go his own way. Alright, let's try to kill this guy. And why not? Let's just keep trying. Let's move you 6 stars. Jeez, where could we go? We could hit this guy. That's 83% odds. He's resilient. Let's see how it goes against the 6 Valor assassin. Is he going to be that resilient? Okay, we also were training a bunch of chivalric knights up here, right? That was the idea. So we're finally going to see them pretty soon. Let's move one ship out. Now we can start to trade with Rome and Sardinia. And yeah, let's get some armor. Okay, we could get a reliquary in Palestine. That seems fitting. Tripoli. Let's get a demi-culverin crew. And since we're going for guns, let's get some more guns. Antioch, let's go for trade. And Egypt we can build, so let's do the ring wall. Alright, they're trying for Egypt again. Looks like the Spanish kept their king there. Great, so the 6-star assassin killed the Spanish general who took Brittany. That's great. Another success, and unfortunately a failure for our 4-star assassin down in Morocco. But they don't have the guts to hit me in Egypt. But Tunisia is actually going to stay Spanish. And Algeria. All right. Good, and also good here. So the Spanish are withdrawing, and we get Valencia completely. That's a fortress province. I'm going to really have to think about keeping that. Okay, so they're attacking... Spanish are attacking Venice. That's where the Pope is currently. The Spanish are thinking better of it. They're withdrawing. Still haven't resolved Provence or Genoa. So they must have taken Milan, or at least gotten enough forces there that they can spare some to lash out at Venice. But they're not going to take Venice. And Tuscany they try to take, or at least move some troops in that direction. Awesome. Okay, we've got a... what is this? Oh, this is annoying. Check it out. Yeah. So 2 rebel provinces are joining this revolt. This is a loyalist revolt. And so what are the 2? It's like Castile for sure, and maybe Leon as well. That's fine. It may just be that there's no reemergences to be had this late in the campaign. All right, we should have a chivalric knight unit in Constantinople. Let's see. All right, let's check out our king's influence now. There we go. 6. So I think this is in part because we're also conquering territory, and maybe his prior modest increase, of just 1 crown rather than 2, because I think a crusade gives you 2 pretty reliably, 2 crowns. But we were also losing territory, right? We absolutely lost Brittany, Navarre, Leon, and Castile. So that's that. Okay. They're looking manageable now, aren't they? He's got ridiculous influence though for what he is. He's excommunicated, eager to retreat, which is really nice. But the fact that he's got so much influence. All right, let's see. We've still obviously got Max Zeal. We've got 1 crusade marker. And I should have been training another one here, but I guess we can't do just crusade markers all the time. But let's do 1 more. And let's send a crusade this time. Now, these guys, yes, we could hit Brittany from here if we wanted to, because of our ship in the Atlantic Ocean. So even though there's a gap here. All right. So that means we could throw all of these guys out and just go right to Brittany and like take it in a couple of turns. I think that's probably the good move. I do want to take Aragon, but I don't need a crusade to do that, right? Like I could just keep pushing this guy back. All right, so we've got these little teeny kind of rebellion-prone provinces in Spain. They're not really producing much for the Spanish, right? They're not really doing much with these, and they're not even moving guys out of Portugal. So I'm, maybe I do kind of want to leave something in Aragon and just hit, in Valencia, and then just hit Aragon, force the king out, and then kind of try to hold this. So let's just do that. If we can fit all the units. All right, that's fine. We'll keep the taxes on normal. We've got a reasonable general here. He can be Duke of Valencia. And what do we have? We've probably got everything for chivalric knights. We can train chivalric knights, yeah. All right, let's get one. We don't have any yet. This army's got some mercenaries. It's got, actually, I probably want this to go with the army somewhere. All right, yeah, fair enough. So a couple chivalric knights. I'm not going to bother with the spearmen mercenaries. And I'll keep the border fort for now. I just don't have a lot of agents, although I think eventually I will get rid of it. But let's build a shipwright here. And Cordoba, we're probably just going to be giving it up to the Spanish. But I'm hopeful that we can get rebellions elsewhere. So let's do this here and here, right? We start maybe putting these places under threat of rebellion. And we could do the same thing. Like, maybe I don't need to worry about Algeria so much. We go over to Morocco and then to... just like that, right? We got a spy in Cordoba. If they do take Cordoba, they'll maybe have a hard time holding it unless they feel like shuffling troops. Okay, my 6-star assassin is right up here. I think he's going to wait. I've got a 4-star in Algeria. And I don't think I want to try killing this guy. Let's just go after the loyal, honest man. Alright, not bothered with this at the moment. We'll just ignore. Here, let's go for 4 of them. I think ships are fine. But yeah, let's actually take a chivalric knight with us. Let's put it up in Flanders. Now, if I go to Ile-de-France and send a crusade over to Brittany, that'll move into Anjou next turn, or this turn, and then we'll go to Brittany, and at that time I can probably use this port to send in a bunch of guys up along with it. So just to make sure, we're building a crusade here. Alright, let's do that. And yeah, no good mercs. So that's going to be 4 years. This gives us 2 years for the crusade, maybe 3. Alright, let's hope that we have to go through Anjou. Yep, great. So we're going to pick up some units, finally. And here's Templars. Here's the Templars. Alright. I mean, it's only at 1 Valor that we would get them with 2 Valor instead of 1 down in Palestine. But that's the whole point of having a chapter house down there. You're really trying me. Alright, we're going to go there. Yes, you guys join the crusade. We're going to go into Anjou. And let's move a couple of units up. I probably won't need them, quite honestly. Looks like a big papal counterattack, but the Spanish are going for Venice pretty hard. Oh, the papacy's getting into Spain, too. Okay, the English are happy to have me go through Anjou, but unfortunately we've lost a second assassin down there. And it looks like the Spanish rather, are actually attacking me here in Egypt. So we're going to have a battle today. Let's just check the reinforcements. They all look pretty uniformly terrible. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. We're not really going to get any heroes coming in the second wave, but we, I think, are going to be in an okay position here. So this will be nice because I think to our west is the papacy, right, in Cyrenaica. And attacking, or at least bleeding off the troops that are in Sinai for the Spanish is going to just make it that much easier for us to feel comfortable about hitting them there and in Arabia. When I get around to that. All right, so we're on the defensive here, so I don't see any real reason to hold back. They've got. Do they have any siege? I can't remember. Well, let's just set up here anyway. No. They've got some archers. They've got a lot of cav. Oh, they do. They do have a catapult crew. But we're out of range of that, I think. We do have, like, almost no cav. So this is just going to be annoying. Okay, so they're moving over there. Alright, let's get all of you together. let's actually just start attacking. The Jeanettes, you know, we'll see if they're going to actually pull through and melee, or if they're going to back off. Nice. We'll have to worry about those militia sergeants breaking through, so I guess we'll hit them there. Let's, nice, okay. Perfect. Perfect, great. So that should be a lot of his army. I think he had some command. Maybe it wasn't a ton. Now we wait. They're going to have... Actually, I don't think they have any reinforcements. You come back. Yeah, they're just going to pull off. Alright, that's fine. And we've saved Egypt. Okay, Spanish, so this is the papacy again, hitting Tunisia. And Cordoba, alright, so they attack me here. Yeah, let's just, let's go to the stronghold. Let's just make it somewhat difficult for them. And as expected, the Spanish are going to retreat, but their king is not here. Is he in the fort? Okay, evidently not. Okay, so the papacy are going to get Genoa. Good, some unrest in Leon. Alright. Let's see how this all shook out. Okay, there he is. So he's over in Navarre. Captured. How on earth did he get captured? I mean, we didn't capture him. Huh. Okay, so we'll just keep after him. I think that's going to be my goal here. We'll hit him up here, and maybe that's going to force him back to Castile. Actually, he can't go to Castile. So that may force him to Aquitaine. Unless he attacks Castile from some other way. Okay, but our spy is here, so 78% loyalty. And this is good too, right? Low loyalty in the papal province here. Let's see what this force is. Okay, nothing good. Got some Jeanettes, Mangonels. Alright, still no Spanish ships. So I think what I'll do I think I want to keep my guys together. There's no point in having a ship presence in Portugal since we can't trade with them, right? So we'll keep them here. We've got an ability to ferry men around through the Atlantic Ocean. So what have we got here? We've got 709 men. We picked up some billmen. We've got, you know, a couple units of Templars, of course, and some trash. But that's okay. You can go right there. Now, I don't know. I think I'm... Ooh, I could eliminate some good units here if we just sit tight. And interestingly, the Spanish have indeed cut across, and they have now taken Venice completely. But they've not yet resolved Milan. Alright, so we need to move in some guys to hit Brittany. There's not going to be a loyalist revolt, unfortunately. And unfortunately also, I mean, we could try this, right? Get rid of this 2-star guy. It feels a little bit of a waste, but every little bit helps. And we can send... Yeah, let's leave you as a garrison. But maybe everything else to join the crusade. And yeah, I'm just a little nervous with the king around here because I don't have any princes, and if the English decide to hit me in Ile-de-France, it could be very, very bad. So for Champagne, yeah, let's go for crossbows. If I'm not really serious about building high-tier units for a little while, you know, crossbows are always sort of an easy, good thing to have. So this will be resolved, let's see, not this turn, unless we kill everybody here, which is very unlikely. So it's probably the turn after. So we're looking 2 more years, and then a year after that, another crusade will be ready. So if the Spanish are still excommunicated at that point, we can send a 3rd crusade against them somewhere. But for this, I don't know if I want to stand and fight. I think I want to hit Navarre. And I'll just give them back Aragon. If I can get the guys. Alright, that just made it. We'll put taxes very low. We'll just give him back Aragon. And in Valencia, yeah, we're training chivalric knights. We could come back and hit Cordoba if we wanted to, but I'm kind of trying to get a rebellion here. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, we can add that. I mean, oh, that's right. Did we want to send in some units from the south? They do have some chivalric knights here. And we've got a lot of weird stuff, so we should probably send some better units. Let's find a good likely looking force. I don't want to spend 1,000,000 years on this. But everything here is kind of a hodgepodge. Alright, let's just go with this. It's the good general. And I think with everything else here, I think we should be okay. It's very nice, though, to see that the sort of stalemate is finally breaking up. The papacy is losing a bit of ground. The Spanish are losing a bit of ground. It looks like is that the Polish? Yeah, the Polish are moving in against the Germans, so things are starting to happen a bit more. It's more active. All right, we got him. And the Spanish retreat. Very nice. Spanish retreat from Croatia. All right. And good. Out of Navarre, we took all of Navarre. Awesome. Alright, and interestingly, Cordoba, they're going to have to assault. Which, to be perfectly honest, I am not super interested in playing out the siege defense of Cordoba. Alright, we got another son coming up. King Philippe III is a builder, so that's good for happiness. Okay. We've almost got Brittany back, but we do have to wait like a year or so. Okay, there's the king. King is at Aragon. So that's actually more like 2 seasons if I don't assault. Alright, you know what? Let's burn Navarre to the ground. Actually, let's see if we get any... No mercs. Okay, so never mind. Alright, we do have a port here, so we could move up another stack if we felt like it. We could move everybody here, but I'm a little concerned now that their king is going to move over to Toulouse, and or a bunch of these stacks are going to come down to defend Aragon. Like, because that would be reasonable. And I sort of think I shouldn't be pushing their armies into the east anymore. Because... well, I want Toulouse, I want Provence, and I want these places to be kind of thin on the ground. I'll leave a force here in Valencia so that it can continue to be trouble. So let's see, should we ditch any of these units? Yeah, just so we can have a nice, not nice, but like a single stack here. And maybe instead what we'll do is we'll hit Aquitaine. It's not on my homelands list, which is a little annoying, but I think it will be at some point, and this will forestall the attack on Brittany, right? Like, unless this army moves up right now, but I think what we would do is, by doing this, we will kind of pin them. So we'll leave 11 Vikings in the castle at Navarre. Crank up taxes to very high. And yeah, keep this the citadel, I suppose. Since we're not using the ships, we'll just get rid of the port. And hope that this army does not move up here to save Brittany, because this is probably like a... this would be a challenge. They've got some upgraded armored guys. Alright, we do have some more ships to move. Let's go to the Dodecanese Sea with this one. And we've got a cog next, that's nice. Okay, I think we will bring you all the way up to Brittany. And yeah, we're going to build like a stack. And get some stacks going sort of in the center. Yeah, let's pause on the crusade. Let's do like this. And one more. We're gonna get up to cavalry here eventually. Alright, so Brittany's my great assassin. I've got a guy in Antioch, a guy in Tripoli. Another couple of guys who are just acting as guards at the moment. Not really doing too much. But that's fine. I'd love to resolve this crusade up in Brittany. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to hold Aquitaine, or if I'll really want to. Because I may want all of those forces to be concentrated against, Toulouse or Aragon, something. Okay, they are hitting me in Aquitaine. Alright, did I see a rebel army in Grenada? Hold on a sec. I gotta check that out. Okay, no, I guess not. So Silesia, what's going on here? The English. All right, the Germans are hitting the English. All right, and the Spanish are bailing out of Aquitaine. Awesome. We've got it, but it's under siege. The papacy are bailing out of Croatia. Very interesting. And we're getting an assault in Cordoba. I'm just going to auto-calc this. They've got a trebuchet. You know, that's probably about as good as we would have done. And Navarre, yeah, just got a loyalist revolt. We get Prince Louis. Awesome. Hard sums and great warrior. It is about time we get some good acumen traits. Let's see what his actual stats are. They're not bad. This is better than we have had for a long time. So he's our new heir. And his younger brother, I assume it's his brother, will be coming of age in 2 more years. So you did it, Philippe. You weathered the storm. And we've got another, this is, I think, his son. Right, 39, 16, oh, maybe? Probably. But I think that's good. I'll move you up to Flanders, and then we'll move you someplace else. Potentially here. Oh, okay, so the papacy is bribing the rebels in Leon. That's fine, I guess. But honestly, look at this. I mean, this is just as good as a reemergence, right? We've got a strong papal army in Castile. They're bribing in Leon, and they are testing the Spanish in North Africa for sure. So they're definitely making it hard for them. But similarly, the Spanish have done just wonderfully for me and moved off into the east, taking, you know, that big, intimidating stack with them and burning it out against the papacy. So now all of this stuff is like on the table for me in a way that it absolutely was not before this war started. So this is great news. One more season, and that will fall. And my crusade is going to be ready at that exact moment to go against something. I might say Toulouse, or maybe Provence, right? These are places that I need to have for glorious achievements. And it would be nice to get one or, you know, both of these just real quickly to assert my hold on them. Even though Provence is kind of a dump, honestly, at this point. There's nothing here except a ton of farming upgrades. We can get it and then hopefully hold it against the Spanish. But I think this is a good point for us to end the episode. I've got a lot of guys up around Aquitaine. I think I want to keep them here maybe for a turn. Maybe I move them over to Toulouse. Yeah, I think that's what we do. This is going to be our last move here. Because what I don't want is a big battle here. Because this is where they've concentrated their good units. So we'll go right up here. We'll be, hopefully we'll have Toulouse next season. And then when we're ready to send that crusade at the beginning of next year to Provence, we'll have a big army right nearby where we can assist. So we won't have to send too many troops with us. But even if we do, we can do that because the Brittany guys will be freed up. So this, I think we've reached the turning point. It doesn't feel like we're done yet, of course. But we are in a position to grab Provence, which I really didn't think we were ever going to get because the way that the papacy had just such a stronghold there, and Toulouse, which we lost recently, and then it's going to be Normandy, Anjou, Burgundy, right? Like eventually, it's going to be the English. We've already seen that they're potentially able to break a little bit up around Wessex. There's maybe some loyalty that we can exploit, and I think we could manage them. So this is going to be really interesting. We've got about 100 turns left before the campaign is over, 123 or so. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to go. Hope you join me for the next episode. Until then, everybody, take care.